What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be getting into my January 10th NCAA Tournament Bracketology. Another crazy week, so let's dive right into the bracket watch. Starting with the top overall seeds, staying with Kansas right now. First team out, Virginia Tech slides all the way down out of here. And the last team in, Oklahoma, just barely making it. So if you look at the bubble right now, last for by Illinois, very frustrating year, as well as for Kentucky, two teams that have just not played good this season down there. And then we have Northwestern and New Mexico. Last for him, we have Mississippi State, Memphis, Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma. First for out, Virginia Tech, as I mentioned. Utah State falls out, Iowa, UCF. And then the next for out, Penn State, Utah, Boise State, and Arizona State. So if you look at the bracket, let's start up with the first four here. Memphis falls down, as we see here, to an 11. Oklahoma, new to the field there. Samford, new to the field at a 16, as well as TMUCC, new to the field at a 16. So that's that. Let's look at the Midwest region, though, as Kansas, of course, staying at the number 1 overall seed right now in this bracketology. Maryland comes up to a 9 seed. We have Duke dropping down to a 5. Marquette's going to be jumping up to a 4, as well as Princeton, new to the field at a 13. We have St. Mary's coming up to a 7. Northwestern's going to be new to the field at a 10, and then Arizona falls to a number 2 seed. In the South region, we have Purdue as the number 2 team here, number 1 seed in this region. We have Auburn coming up to an 8. NC State new to the field at a 9. Providence jumping up to a 5. Kent State falls to a 12. You have Southern Mississippi new to the field at a 13. Xavier jumps up to a 3. UMass Lowell drops down to a 14. We have Wisconsin dropping down to a 7. New Mexico dropping down to a 10. And Siena new to the field at a 15. In the East region, we have Alabama as the 1 seed there. Stetson new to the field at a 16. We have Michigan State jumping up to an 8 seed. West Virginia continues to fall right now, dropping down to a 9. Iowa State jumps up to a 4 seed. We have UC Irving new to the field at a 13. TCU falls to a 6. Nevada going to be jumping up to an 11. We have Rutgers jumping up to a 7. Clemson's going to be new to the field at a 10. Right there. And then if we look at the West region, Houston back at the number 1 seed here at the 1. Milwaukee new to the field at a 16. Indiana falls at it to an 8. And Kentucky, obviously they're falling. Two of those teams have had frustrating weeks right there. And then we have Baylor, after losing to Kansas State, falls to a 5 seed. Oral Roberts, my Oral Roberts, a team that I'm high on, jumps up to a 12 seed. Virginia going to be dropping down to a 4 seed. We have Missouri jumping up to a 6. San Diego State jumping up to a 7. And then we have Eastern Washington jumping up to a 15. All right, so let's look at the bracket. Let's start out with the first 4 here. Starting out with Mississippi State versus Oklahoma State. Same matchup as last time. I'm going to take Oklahoma State still, though. Southern, I think, could beat Farlight Dickinson. Memphis, I think, could hold on versus Oklahoma, although that's a close matchup. And then Samford, I think, could beat TMU. I'm just going to say that for short. All right, let's get into the bracket, though. Starting out with Kansas versus Southern, I'm going to go with Kansas. Creighton versus Maryland, really good 8 versus 9 matchup. I like this matchup a lot. These two teams are good, but I'm going to have to go with Maryland there as a 9 seed to pull off a 9/8. Duke versus Dayton. I'm going with a 12/5 upset ever since Coach K has left. Duke's just been kind of iffy this season. And Dayton's a good 12 seed. I think that they could pull it off there. And then Marquette, I think, could beat Princeton. Ohio State versus Memphis. I'm going with the 11/6 upset. Ohio State is a looking... never mind. Ohio State's looking like a good team right now. I can't go with that upset. Arkansas, I do think could beat Indiana State. St. Mary's, I think, could beat Northwestern. And then Arizona, I think, could beat SIU Edwardsville. All right, down here, Houston, I do think could beat Milwaukee. Indiana versus Kentucky, good matchup, but I'm going to go with the 8 seed Indiana. Baylor versus Oral Roberts. I just can't pick Baylor to get upset there. I really do like Oral Roberts, but Baylor is still a very good team, so I'm going to go with Baylor. Virginia, I do think, could beat Utah Valley. And then this matchup kills me here. Missouri Charleston. I really like Charleston as a team, but Missouri, I think, is the better team. So I think they're going to be able to hold on. Texas, I do think, can beat Colgate. San Diego State against Illinois. Not too high on either of these teams here. I'm going to go with Illinois, though. They have a little bit more star power than UConn. I think could be Eastern Washington. Oh, wait. Oof, my bad, guys. UCLA, not UConn here. That's my fault. There you go. All right, sorry about that, guys. Let's move on over here. Purdue against Samford. I'm going to go with Purdue here. Auburn versus NC State. Let's go with Auburn. Providence versus Kent State. I'm going to have to go with Providence there. They're a good team. Kansas State, Southern Mississippi State. Or Southern Mississippi just straight up. I'm going with Southern Mississippi. North Carolina versus Oklahoma State. Let's go with the 11-6 upset here. North Carolina is a good team, but they've been iffy this season. Oklahoma State's coming off the game. So, yeah, I'm going to take the first four matchup there. Go with Oklahoma State. Xavier, I do think, could beat UMass Lowell. Wisconsin against New Mexico. New Mexico has been falling a bit lately. Not a big fan of Wisconsin either, though. Yeah, the New Mexico's struggling. I'm going to have to take Wisconsin. New Mexico's lost 2 in a row, I believe. And then Tennessee, I do think, can beat Siena after being the last undefeated team remaining for New Mexico. All right, over here, we have Alabama against Stetson. I'm going to go with Alabama. Michigan State, I do think, can beat West Virginia. Miami, I think, can hold on versus Florida Atlantic. Iowa State can beat UC Irvine. TCU can beat Nevada. Gonzaga can beat Longwood, and then Rutgers beating Clemson, and then UConn beating Norfolk State. So I'm going all chalk in that region. I just don't see any upsets there. Florida Atlantic's a good 12 seed, but I think the 5 seed Miami is a really good team. UC Irvine, I guess, maybe could pull off the upset of Iowa State, but Iowa State's too good in my opinion. Maybe TCU over Nevada, but I'm more of a fan of TCU there. So, yeah, no upsets here, though, at least for the first round. All right, let's go over here. Kansas versus Maryland. I'm going to have to pick Kansas there. Dayton, the 12 seed versus Marquette. I'm going to go with 4-seeded Marquette. Ohio State versus Arkansas. Really good matchup here. We're going to have to go with Arkansas here. They're just a good enough team. And then Arizona, I think, could be St. Mary's. So all chalk there. Kind of on a chalk streak right now. Houston versus Indiana. Going to go with Houston. Baylor versus Virginia. I'm going to go with the 4-seeded Virginia. Missouri, I think, could pull off a 6-3 upset. Texas just lost their head coach, and Missouri's a really good 6th seed in my opinion, so I think they could beat them. Then UCLA, I think, could beat Illinois. Over here, we have Purdue pulling off the win over Auburn. Kansas State beating Providence. Oklahoma State against Xavier. Gonna have to go Xavier. And then Tennessee, I think, could beat Wisconsin. So again, chalk. A lot of chalk this time, surprisingly. Alabama, I think, can beat Michigan State. Miami against Iowa State, really good matchup. I do believe these two teams played in the Sweet 16 literally right here last year. I believe that Iowa State prevailed as an 11 seed. Really good game here. This is tough. I'm gonna go with the 5-seeded Miami though for a slight upset. Gonzaga, I think, can beat TCU. And then I'm going with an upset here. I'm going Rutgers over UConn. Not a big fan of UConn this season. They've just been, they lost to Providence. They lost to Xavier. Both those teams are really good teams, but still not a big fan of them from day one. And Rutgers, I think, is a solid team here. They're playing really good basketball at the right time right now, and I think that they could beat UConn. All right, so for a spot in the Elite Eight, we have Kansas Marquette. Have to go with Kansas there. Arkansas versus Arizona. Arkansas is a really good team. I'm going with the 3-seeded Arkansas to pull off the slight upset. Down here, we have Houston versus Virginia. Good game here. I'm going to have to go with the one-seeded Houston. Missouri playing UCLA. Should we continue the run? I don't think so. I think UCLA will be able to end Missouri's run. Purdue versus Kansas State. I'm going with the... should we do it? Purdue is a really freaking good team. You know, let's do it for this bracketology. Not been a lot of upsets, so let's go with Kansas State here, the 4 seed. They're a very good team. I really do believe in Kansas State, so I think that they can pull off this massive upset there. Let's do it and go with Kansas State. Tennessee versus Xavier. I'm going to go with Tennessee there. All right, down here, we have Alabama versus Miami. I'm going to have to go with Alabama. Or... you know, let's go with the 5 seed in Miami, actually, to pull off the upset. So, a couple 1 seeds coming down in this here. Gonzaga versus Rutgers. Going to have to go with Gonzaga. All right, let's go here for a spot in the Final Four. Kansas versus Arkansas. Time to give Arkansas some love. I haven't given that much love in the past bracketology. I'm going with the upset here. Arkansas, when healthy, is a very good team here, and I think that they can get the job done. UCLA gets Houston. Let's bring UCLA into the Final Four, the 2 seed upsetting Houston. So that means no number 1 seeds are going to be in the Final Four here, with UCLA beating Houston. Crazy. Tennessee versus, I believe last time I had 3, so that's unpredictable how these are. Kansas State versus Tennessee. Let's bring Tennessee back into the Final Four. And then Miami versus Gonzaga. I'm going to have to go with Gonzaga. So we have 2 3 seeds, 2 seeds for a spot in the national championship game. Arkansas versus UCLA. Gonna have to go with Arkansas. Last time these 2 teams played, I picked UCLA. Let's flip it up this time, going with Arkansas. And then Tennessee versus Gonzaga. I'm going to have to go with the 2-seeded Tennessee. So we have a battle of the SEC teams here, Arkansas and Tennessee, for the championship. I've had Tennessee in 2 championships now, have not won it yet, but let's give it to Tennessee now. They're a really good basketball team. They're a really good program. I think that they could take down Arkansas and win the championship. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching this video today. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the content. Comment down below your predictions. And anyway, peace